Hello, this is Jingo. In this video, I will show you how to set up a WebSpatial project to create for both web and Apple Vision Pro at the same time. This tutorial assumes you are familiar with the basics of Vite, React, and TypeScript. If some of those things are new to you, you can still certainly follow along, but I won't go in depth on some of those topics. Additionally, since we're building for Apple Vision Pro, it's a requirement that you have a modern MacBook powered by M chips. Before we jump into it, I want to say that most of what I will cover can be found on the WebSpatial documentation, particularly the quick example page. But if you follow the quick example tutorial, you might encounter some challenges. So what I will show in my tutorial will be slightly different. And I will also provide tips for you to address some of those challenges. So first, what we're going to do is create a Vite project by using npm create Vite at latest. It will ask us a couple of questions. The project name we will use WebSpatial tutorial. We will use React. According to WebSpatial, it does support vanilla JavaScript. However, at the moment, it doesn't support any other framework. We'll use TypeScript. We'll say no, and we will choose to install all of the dependencies and start now. And by default, after installing, Vite will start the dev server for us. We will exit it, and we will cd into the directory we just created. And at this point, we can open up the project using our favorite IDE. And for me, that would be Cursor, and you can use whatever you want. It should be quite similar. After that is opened up, we can see over here, and the next step is we want to install the WebSpatial SDK into the Vite project. First, we need to install all of the core dependencies of WebSpatial. We can do that by running this command. And next, after that's installed, we want to install all of the dev dependencies of WebSpatial. But if we run this command, we will see we encounter some errors. What this is telling us is that WebSpatial requires Vite version 6. However, currently we're using the latest Vite version 7. So we need to downgrade Vite from version 7 to version 6 by going into the package.json and modify the Vite version in there. And after that, if we run the npm install command again, everything should work. Just give it a second. There are a lot of packages. So next, after we have everything installed, we want to integrate the WebSpatial SDK into Vite. We want to copy this line of settings into both tsconfig.app.json and also tsconfig.not.json. And after that, we also want to install the WebSpatial Vite plugin. So that will be, Cursor is smart enough to suggest some things. Let me clean it up a little bit. And that will install the WebSpatial plugin into Vite. And now we have essentially everything set up and we can start building. But, however, if we want to launch our app into the Apple Vision Pro simulator, we still need Xcode. So we can install Xcode from the, let's try to find the download for the Xcode. You can directly download Xcode from the App Store. And for me, I have already installed Xcode, so I won't install it again. But after we install Xcode and open it up for the first time, Xcode will ask you to install some simulators. What you want to install is the Apple Vision Pro simulator, especially the Vision OS 2.5, which is the version I am using right now. The latest version is Vision OS 26. And there might be some issues using Vision OS 26 with WebSpatial. So for now, I recommend just using the Vision OS 2 series simulators. And either 2.5, 2.6, 2.4, all of those should work. And if you're watching this video in 2026, I'm pretty sure WebSpatial has already supported the latest Vision OS 26, so you can just install the latest version. But if you're watching this in 2025, I still suggest installing Vision OS 2 series. Any of them should work. After installing Xcode, that's now we can start actually developing. And first of all, what we need to do is we need to run some servers. The first server we want to run is npm run dev, which gives us the default dev server for a Vite project. And as you can see, this is the classic Vite plus React template. We have a count button and that increases the count every time we click it. The second server we need to start is the server for our app in the Apple Vision Pro simulator. And the command for that is xr_env equals avp, aka Apple Vision Pro, and npm run dev. This will give us another server. And if we go here, it actually looks exactly the same as the default Vite server, but it will be different in the Apple Vision Pro simulator. And to run the app in the Apple Vision Pro simulator, there's one more thing we need to make sure, which is that when we install Xcode, we need to make sure it was installed correctly. So we need to use Xcode -select-p. This will output a path for us. If you have the same path as what I have on my screen, that means Xcode is installed correctly. If you have something different, you want to run the command of sudo xcode-select-s and then the same path over here. And that will force Xcode to use this directory over here. Will ask us for a password, and then now if we run xcode select-p, we will see this path showing up on here. So now we have that set up. What we want to run is npx WebSpatial-builder run-base equals the server that we just started, the localhost 5174. And if we run this command, if everything goes correctly, this should launch our app in the Apple Vision Pro simulator. It is a bit slow. And there we have it. And all the features are there, which we only have one, which is the count button, but that works. And let's actually quit it. Oh, let's actually reopen it. There's one cool thing I want to show you, which is because we have this dev server over here, we get all the benefit that we get for developing for the web, which is hot reload. If we go to, just to demonstrate, and we can go to the app.tsx. For H1, we're going to rename it to Hello Web Spatial. And if we go back to Chrome, we'll see that the H1 is updated for both our AVP dev server and also the web dev server. But more importantly, if we go back to simulator, we can see that the H1 is also updated in our Apple Vision Pro app. This is something that's just incredible, makes our life much simpler. And before we end this video, there's one more thing I want to show you, which is that in the public directory, we want to create another file called manifest.web-manifest. Essentially, on a higher level, what this file is doing is telling Apple Vision Pro we're running a PWA, Progressive Web App. And there are a couple of the settings we can set in this file to let Apple Vision Pro know how we want this app to be run. For now, we will only use one settings, which is the default size. I'll just copy it from the quick example tutorial and paste it in here. What this setting is doing is It is setting the default size of the app window that we open up in Apple Vision Pro. The width is 500 unit and the height is 1000 unit. And next, if we go back to the simulator, this is one of the rare occasions we need to uninstall the app and reinstall it. But to be fair, we won't change the manifest file that often, so we only need to potentially uninstall and reinstall the app a couple of times. So let's run our npx WebSpatial Builder run command again, and we will see our Apple Vision Pro app booted in just a second. And this time the expected result should be that the app should be a lot narrower than what we saw in the previous launch. And there we have it. It is a lot narrower, and the user can still choose to set their own window size. So we get all of the benefit of the responsive web and all of the CSS rules that we have for the responsive web. So that is just amazing. So that concludes this video. Now you have a WebSpatial startup project that functions on both the web and Apple Vision Pro. I have uploaded my sample code to my GitHub, and you can find it in the link below. If you find this content helpful, please give me a like. And in my next video, I will show you a much simpler way of starting the WebSpatial server and launching it in the Apple Vision Pro simulator.